My name is Cherilyn Orr, and I'm the founder of the Stoplight approach. And I have been asked many times, how have you changed since you started the Stoplight approach in your own personal way you interact with your kids? What were you like before, and what are you like now? So I'm using these blocks to kind of illustrate how my life has changed. Let's start with rules. I was a person who had been taught through education about how do we use behavior management? How do we control our children? Well, it's by the rules. You know, you explain the rules to the children and you get them, this is the rule, what's the rule? And then what do we need to do? We need to get children to obey those rules. And what else do we need to do? We need to get them to work hard. And this was kind of our culture in our schools and in my family, is how do we get children to follow the rules? How do we control them? And then what do we use to make that happen? We use punishments. If you don't follow the rules, you go in your room right now and you have time out. When you're ready to listen, you can come back. Or we did things like removal of, you can't go you can't go there, you can't watch TV, you can't do this, because you didn't obey the rules. So we have the rules, but then what's the other side? I was a rewards queen. I was a great engaged teacher and a great engaged mom, and I loved using rewards to control my children. And that was a big way that I used to control my children, was through rewards, because our goal is to get the task completed. This is the goal. Whatever it is, getting the kids out the door in the morning, getting them to bed at night, meal times, whether it be in class, we want to finish this test, we want to learn this new skill. So we use behavior management on how to control children. And then I adopted a child. And this child didn't care about my rules. And she didn't care about my punishment, she didn't care about my rewards, and she didn't care about the tasks that needed to get done. And all of the things that I'd learned in education and all the books that I'd read in parenting and education didn't really work. And so then my friend, one day I was at her house and my child was having an all-out temper tantrum. And this temper tantrum and this meltdown would have taken me an hour to get her back on track, doing what she's supposed to be doing. And this lady was able to get down on the floor, and she started working with my child. She's a behavioral consultant, and she got my child back on the chair, doing what she was supposed to be doing in a matter of about 10 minutes, where it would have taken me forever to do. And I thought, what did you just do? How did you do that? So I was so curious. And she sat me down and she said, it's like your brain is like a stoplight. And she said, when there are three main parts of your brain. We know the brain's much more complex than that. But she said, you know, your bottom part of your brain, this back part of your brain is your brain stem. This is when you're in fight, flight, or freeze. And you don't have any capacity to hear what anybody is saying. You're only using 50% of your IQ. And then she had talked about the middle part of your brain, that limbic system, when it's that when you're on that high alert kind of idea and you're feeling stressed and tired and anxious, and this is your emotional brain, and this is when you need to be really careful because you could flip into red. So these two parts of your brain are your fear-based parts of your brain, and you feel threatened. Something is feeling overwhelming, threatening, or stressful to you. And this is your green brain. This is when your body's not on high arousal. It's when it's in a calm brain state and you're ready to learn. And we know that when a child is in this neocortex, the top part of your brain, they are ready to learn. It takes 12 to 15 times to teach them a new skill. And that's important as a teacher, compared to 350 to 400 times to get them to do it when they're in red brain. And when they are in red brain and they are in that brainstem, they can only do rote learning. They cannot listen to somebody else's perspective, and that is not a great space to be learning in. And I often think of myself as a parent, do I want to teach my kid 100 times, or do I want to teach them 350 to 400 times the same skill? And do I want them to have critical thinking and problem solving at the same time? So all of a sudden, she opened my mind up to a whole new world that they never taught me about in university. But so I was like, okay, what can I learn? So I started diving into all this brain research and how it affects behavior, and how what we're dealing with is not a behavior issue, it's a brain issue. And if we could change the brain, we could change the behavior. So I had to change the equation, which meant I had to focus on connection first, not connection after you followed the rules, but connection even when the behavior wasn't what I wanted. So I had to focus on relationship. And then we have three main pillars. One is we want everybody in our home to feel safe body and safe heart. And because if you're not feeling safe, you'll be in red brain. You can't come out of red unless you're feeling safe. And the next part is respect. Every person in our family needs to feel seen, heard, or valued. And this goes for a classroom as well. How do we make people feel seen, heard, and valued? Because we know that you cannot come out of yellow brain unless you feel seen, heard, and valued. That doesn't mean I always agree with anything, but I can still validate where people are at in my family. Responsible. We want children to be responsible. We want them to take initiative. And that's one of the things that we're growing in as we work with our children, as we make them feel seen, heard, and valued. We're able to use the common language of the Stoplight approach of red, yellow, and green, so that they could look at their siblings or they could look at their classmates and say, how do I help my friend get to green? And what can I do to make our world, our home, a greener place? So that really focuses in on social responsibility. If you don't do your chores, if you're in the home, then it's going to affect the whole family. So this is about giving children voice, but it's all about collaboration and teaching responsibility. But we know we're all human, so we will mess up. But we're messing up in the context of a family or a school where you feel safe and secure. And so you're not going to be punished and shamed, but we're going to help you to feel calm, and we're going to help you to get back, because we know that red and yellow are not something that's bad. It is a warning sign. It is an alarm to say something is wrong, and we're going to help you to fix it, treasure it, and change it, and restore your relationships. Because our goal is not just the task of getting kids to bed or doing something. It's about how do we help the children in our care grow to be a productive member of society and to be somebody who is emotionally healthy. And so that's what we focus on, is helping each other grow in green.